Hi everyone, welcome to Learn Python. In this tutorial we are going to talk about filter function. In the previous tutorial we have talked about map function. Here we will see how these two functions are different from each other. Filter function is very similar to map function with just one difference. So we will see how it works. So we have seen that map functions means it takes some callable, it works on iterable, and it does the transformation of each element of that iterable as per the function or callable it is taking, right? And this example we have seen, here we have used a div3 function which basically returns true if the number is divisible by 3, and we have some list of numbers here. So this is my list of numbers which I have printed here. Now if I apply map function on this, what we get? I hope you remember from the previous tutorial that if I apply map function, let me just comment this line and show you what map function does is, we have seen in the previous tutorial we have list, inside that map, and inside that the function div3. Ideally we should use lambda function to make it more efficient, but just for simplicity we have used the function div3 and we are applying it on each element of this list my numbers. So what we are getting is, we are getting true and false. So it is checking for each number and it is giving us true and false whether the number is divisible by 3 or not, right? Now in filter function it will again check the same thing. It will again perform the same function on each element of this iterable, but instead of giving us information for all the elements of that iterable, it will filter, it will give us information only for those numbers of the iterable which are true. So let's see, if I do it for filter, I am just getting the numbers which are divisible by 3. So 12 is divisible by 3, 30 is divisible, 24 divisible, 43 is not divisible by 3, so it is not giving us 43. 54 is giving, and it is not giving these elements because these are not divisible by 3. So you can see there are two differences. One, it is filtering for the elements as the name implied, right? Second, it is, instead of giving us true and false, it is giving us the numbers which are satisfying this particular condition. So these are two major differences, and definitely if you want to use lambda function, you can simply write this small function in terms of lambda function because it just have one single operation. If you are not sure how does lambda function works, you may want to watch my tutorial on lambda function. So again we are getting the same output. So this was one difference between filter and map function. Another thing is, filter function takes just one iterable, unlike map function. In map function we can give more than one iterable as well, but in filter function, because it works on the function which returns Boolean values true and false from the iterables. So the function should be Boolean valued, it should return true and false, and definitely the function should be with one argument only because filter function takes only one iterable. It filters elements of those iterable based on that function which returns true and false, as we have seen in this example. What happens if we don't supply any function to the filter function, we just supply none, then what happens? Let's see one example here. Here we have created a list, any iterable we can use. I am using this list, and in this list we have few elements. I have added positive, negative elements, 0, string and booleans, true, false, everything, so that we can see the difference. Now we want to do filter function on this, and we want to see the output as well. So we will put it inside list and we will call filter function. Here we don't have a function, we just want to use none, right? And here we want to use the iterable which we have defined, iterable ls. Now what happens is, if you don't yet know what is none in Python, you need to read little more about this, but how this filter function will work here is, it will check for every element of the iterable. It will start with the first element, then second element, and so on, and it will see when we convert these elements to Boolean, which of the elements converts to true. It will return only those elements. If you are not sure, you can watch my tutorial on typecasting. There I have discussed it in detail. When we convert or when we typecast to Boolean, most of the object converts to true. There are very few which converts to false, right? So let's see what happens here. If I try to do the filter function here, I get the element 12 minus 34, then 56.7. So I am not getting this element 0 here because 0 is converting to false. All the numbers converts to true except 0. 0 converts to false when we do typecasting, right? Then we get 56.7, then we get 23, which is a string here because I am putting quotation marks here. 0 this time is printing because it's not the number 0, it's the string which contains 0. So it converts to true and we are getting here in the output. True we are getting and false we are not getting. So whatever element converts to false, we will not get those elements when we use filter function like this. So let me quickly summarize this thing. So in this tutorial we have talked about filter function, and as the name specifies, it is used to filter. And filter what? Filter some elements from the iterable. Now we know iterable can be a list or tuple or anything like that, and here we use some function on the basis of which we filters the elements of the iterable. Now there are some condition. This function should be the Boolean valued function. Boolean values means this function should just return us true or false, or maybe if you are not returning something, it will return none. So basically it is useful when we have true false kind of function, maybe some condition or something like that, and only those elements which are returning true, we will get only those elements. Second thing, this function should only take one parameter. It should not take more than one parameter, because these parameters would be supplied by the iterable, and filter function works only in case of one iterable. We can't use it like we have seen in map function where we had multiple iterable. Here we need to make sure that function takes one parameter and that parameter would be supplied with one iterable. So these are the three conditions, and the difference between map and filter was, in map function it was returning value for all the elements, it was applying transformation on all the elements. Here it is just filtering elements for which the condition is true. Another thing is, in map it was doing the transformation, and here it is just filtering. So and we are seeing the element here, so we get the elements for which the condition is true. Second thing we have also talked about, if we have filter function and here instead of function we are using none and we are applying it on some iterable, what happens is it will return the elements which converts to true when we do typecasting, right? And those elements which does not convert to true, we will not be able to see that here. So if you are not sure how that works, you might want to watch my video on typecasting. So this was all about filter function which we have discussed in this tutorial. I hope you find this tutorial interesting and useful. Thank you for watching.